You're trapped. Every time you explain yourself, you hand over your power to someone else. Marcus Aurelius knew this truth. The emperor who commanded millions never begged for understanding. Yet here you are, scrambling to justify every decision, every choice, every breath you take. Listen carefully. The moment you start explaining, you've already lost. Your words become chains. Your justifications become your weakness. Why? Because you're seeking validation from people who've already made up their minds. Marcus wrote in his Meditations, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" The same applies to justification. The damage you do defending yourself exceeds any criticism. Think about it. When did explaining yourself ever truly change someone's mind? When did your desperate words transform hatred into respect? Never. Because respect cannot be argued into existence. You're feeding a machine that will never be satisfied, giving your energy to those who deserve none of it. The prison of justification has invisible bars, but they're stronger than steel. But here's the truth Marcus discovered. The key to your cell has always been in your hand. If you're finding value in this, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Picture this: Marcus Aurelius stands before 20,000 battle-hardened legionnaires. He doesn't plead, he doesn't justify, he doesn't explain why they should follow him. One look, one gesture, 20,000 men would march into hell itself. This wasn't magic. This was the power of silent authority. While weak leaders drown others in explanations, true power whispers. The emperor understood something most people never learn. Respect isn't earned through words. It's commanded through presence. When you explain yourself constantly, you're teaching people to question you. When you justify your decisions, you're admitting they might be wrong. Marcus knew that silence creates mystery, and mystery commands respect. Think of the most powerful people you know. Do they explain themselves, or do they simply act with such conviction that others follow naturally? Your words reveal your doubts. Your silence reveals your strength. But here's where most people get it wrong about silent authority. Here lies the brutal truth that destroys most leaders before they even begin. The more you explain yourself, the less people respect you. This is the respect paradox that Marcus Aurelius understood with perfect clarity. Every justification you offer is a signal of uncertainty. Every defense you mount becomes evidence of your doubt. The human mind reads over-explanation as weakness masquerading as strength. When you justify your decisions, you subconsciously communicate that they need justification. You train others to question what should be unquestionable. Each explanation becomes an invitation for debate. Every justification transforms your authority into a negotiation. The emperor understood that true power speaks through action, not explanation. Confident decisions require no defense, because they carry their own weight. Stop feeding the machine that devours your respect, one justification at a time. Marcus Aurelius faced the ultimate test every leader encounters. When thousands demanded his attention, whose voice would guide him? He discovered that the most powerful tribunal exists within. Your inner compass doesn't need permission to point true north. It doesn't require votes, approval, or applause. While others seek external validation, Stoics practice something far more powerful. Self-examination versus self-justification. One builds character. The other destroys it. When you know your values, decisions become effortless. You don't pause to ask what others will think. You don't second-guess your principles. Your conscience becomes your only jury. And unlike external critics, this judge knows the full truth. It sees beyond appearances, beyond excuses, beyond the masks we wear. Build this inner tribunal strong enough, and you'll never need to justify yourself to another soul. Building on what we covered, Marcus Aurelius mastered something most people never learn: the art of drawing boundaries without building walls. When someone challenges your decision, your first instinct is to defend it. But Marcus taught us that explanations are often weakness disguised as communication. The Stoic response? 3 simple words: I have decided. No justification, no elaborate reasoning, just the quiet authority of certainty. But here's the crucial part. Knowing when silence speaks louder than words, Marcus understood that every word you speak dilutes your power, so he chose his battles. And more importantly, he chose his silence. When pressed for reasons, try this. That's not up for discussion. Notice how that shifts the entire dynamic. You're not defending, you're defining. The boundary isn't hostile. It's simply immovable. This is how you communicate decisions without surrendering your authority to explain them. Because true power doesn't argue, it simply is. Building on everything we've covered, there's one final truth Marcus Aurelius understood. The unshakable self needs no applause, no validation, no understanding from the crowd. It draws its power from an inner wellspring that external circumstances cannot touch. While others chase approval, you cultivate something far more precious: inner strength. This strength doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to. It simply is. Marcus wrote, "Be like the rocky headland on which the waves constantly break. It stands firm." Living with dignity means your convictions aren't up for negotiation. Your values aren't subject to popular vote. Your principles aren't democracy. They are your constitution. The unchanging law by which you govern yourself. And here's the ultimate freedom. You don't need everyone to understand you. In fact, the need to be understood by everyone is the heaviest chain of all. When you release this need, you discover something remarkable. Those who matter will recognize your worth without explanation, and those who don't, they were never your people anyway. This is the unshakable self, built on truth, powered by conviction, and freed from the exhausting need to justify its existence. If this opened your eyes, smash that like button and subscribe for more.